we are going to be going over the corrections for your science study guide on topic 3. Please make sure you're correcting this carefully with your red pen. You should have already done it in pencil. And we're seeing how you did because you don't want to study the wrong answers. So make sure you're paying attention. If you got it correct, I want to see that star or that happy face on the side so that I know you're checking it. If you got it wrong, I want to see the correct answer in your red pen. You're going to study tonight so that way you're ready for the test tomorrow. Let's go ahead and begin correcting. Number 1, how are all landforms alike? Okay, what makes it a landform? All landforms are made of rock and dirt. That's what you should have put here. All landforms are made of rock and dirt. Mountains, hills, plateaus, islands, peninsulas, they are all rock and dirt. Okay, match the landform or type of water to its description. So I'm going to read the description first and then I'll put the letter in the right landform or water. Water that has land all around it, usually fresh water. So any type of water with land around it, let's check for waters. There's a glacier here. Glaciers don't usually have water all around it. I have river or I have lake. So I'm going to put that one under lake. They have land all around it. B, raised part of Earth's surface that is flat on top. That's a key word right there. If it is flat on top, then that would be a plateau. C, low land in between mountains or hills. Please be careful. This is one that many of you got wrong. When it has pictures of mountains here, and I said to look at the low land in between, many of you said that this low land had steep edges. And that's not true. The mountains has the steep side. The mountains and the hills do, but the valleys do not have steep slopes and steep edges. Low land in between the mountains is called a valley, and they do not have steep sides. It is low land. So we're going to put C here to match with valley. D, flowing ice would be a glacier. And fresh water that flows would be river. F, let's see, rocky land that rises higher than the land around it. So we have hill or mountain. So let's read the next one just to make sure we're putting it in the right spot. Rocky land that rises higher than the land around it, but is not as high as mountains. Okay, so that tells me that G has to be hill and F has to be mountain, because G specifically said not as high as mountains. Okay, if you need to pause it to get caught up to make sure your letters are all correct, go ahead and do that. Number 3, how are rivers and glaciers alike? How are they different? Answer both. Boys and girls, many times when there are 2 questions, you're only answering one of the questions. If there are 2 questions, you need to answer both of them. Okay, so how are they alike? First of all, both rivers and glaciers are made from water. You could have put that. They are both water. Okay, let's think about what they both do. They both flow. Glaciers are flowing water and rivers are flowing water, so they both flow. Oh, you could even say that they are both fresh water. Let's add that word there. Most rivers and glaciers are fresh water. They both flow, and while they're flowing, what do they both do? They both move rock and dirt. And when they move that rock and dirt, they are both creating the valleys or the canyons. Okay, now let's answer the second part. How are they different? Rivers are liquid and glaciers are solid. Okay, on the test, it will ask you this question. You need to know one way that they're both the same and one way that they're different. So please make sure you know at least one of these on the list that I put here. Don't send me a question and ask me, what if I only put one? I'm telling you right now, if you only have one of these, that they're both water, or they both flow, or they both move rock and dirt, then it would be correct. You need to have at least one of them. Okay. How much of the earth is covered in water? Well, we learned a fraction that told us how much is covered in water. That fraction was 3/4. 3 out of 4. So here's the earth. And if we split it into fourths, which means 4 equal parts, 3 out of the 4 is water. You could also view it as if there were 4 boxes, like in our math here. If I had 4 boxes, 3 out of the 4 is water, and 1/4, 1 out of the 4 is land. So 3/4, 3 out of the 4. Okay, how does salt get into the ocean? And we read in our book, it is rivers carry salt to the ocean from rocks. Okay, the rocks around them, we know that the rivers carry rocks and dirt as they flow, and so the rivers are carrying the salt from the rocks to the ocean. What is another name for a river? We learned that there's one other name for it. It could also be called a stream. That's also flowing water. And it just depends on the size, whether you call it a river or a stream. Okay, number 7. What is a map key? So you should have put something about a box that explains the pictures on a map. Okay, what is a scale on a map? Okay, a scale. And why do map makers use it? So let's say a scale. We have to answer both. First of all, what is it? A scale is a way to compare the distance between 2 objects. Okay, if you put something like, it is a box that shows you the distance, that's fine. That's similar. That would work. Okay, or if you put a ruler on the bottom of the page that tells you how far things are, that's okay. That's almost the same wording. It means the same thing. So I would accept that as well. Okay, why do map makers use a scale? Why do they need to use it? Well, because objects in real life are much bigger than they are in a map. So we're going to say they use it because maps are smaller than the real places. Okay, so that's how you can know the actual distance between. All right, a map scale shows 1 centimeter equals 100 meters. That should have not been a question mark. That should have just been a period. If two stores are 4 centimeters apart on the map, how far are they in real life? Okay, so for every 1 centimeter, it's 100 meters. So 2 centimeters would be 200 meters. 3 centimeters is 300 meters. So 4 centimeters would equal 400 meters. Don't forget your unit there. About how far apart is the treasure chest from Lookout Point? Now it says the word about, so you don't have to be exact. Okay, I need to use a scale to find out how far apart they are. This is treasure chest, this is Lookout Point. I can even just use my fingers here and then compare it to the scale, as long as I don't move my fingers. Or I can use my ruler and I can measure from the two places. It is about 2 centimeters apart from each other. So when I hold my ruler up here, about 2 centimeters would be up to the 50. So 50 meters is my answer, not 2 centimeters, because we need it for real life. It measured 2 centimeters, but then we have to put it against the scale to see what the actual is in real life. So the answer would be 50 meters. Okay, if you circle 2 centimeters, that tells me you measured it, but you didn't use the scale. You have to use the scale. All right, that's it for today. If you have any questions, go ahead and send me a chat. If you want something explained to you, I can talk to you about it. Your test is tomorrow, so please make sure you practice. You quiz yourself on, especially on the ones that you might have missed, or you're reaching out to me if you don't understand, so that way I can help you before it's time to take the real test. Okay, good luck on your studying.